Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 4 of the Elliot Loney Podcast. Today I was joined by potentially one of the most enigmatic sports stars in the world today. His name is Nick Kyrgios, and he's been earmarked by some of his peers as potentially the most naturally talented tennis player to ever grace a court. But I know him as just Kyrgios, a cracking fella, a great mate, and someone I've known for a long time. And I think this interview is going to give the mainstream media and the general public an insight into Nick Kyrgios that the world has never seen before. And I'm really excited to share
what's going on, bro? I'm Nick Kyrgios.
Bro, you're not Nick Kyrgios. You're just me with a hat and a chain around your neck.
Bro, I actually think I know, bro. I'm obviously Nick Kyrgios, bro.
Man, I know you're not the real Nick Kyrgios because I literally just spoke to him for 45 minutes, just now.
Bro, fine, bro. See if I care. Doesn't even want to speak to the genuine article.
Alright, guys. Enjoy.
Kyrgios, mate, thank you for joining us, mate. It's been a long time coming, bro, but I'm really appreciating you giving up your time and being a part of this humble podcast. It means a lot.
Yeah, of course. You're obviously one of my good friends, and when I heard you were doing a podcast and you already did one with Tanasi, I was looking forward to getting on here. I know this one's gonna be a good one, so I'm looking forward to it.
Likewise, mate. I really appreciate that. And what have you been up to, man? What are you doing during isolation? You've been hitting a few balls or just generating? What's been going on?
I guess no one was really used to what was going on at the start of the whole quarantine. Like, staying home was okay for a week, and then obviously I got kind of, not necessarily bored, but just didn't really have anything that I needed to do. And obviously training now, I'm trying to get back into it. But I was gaming a lot. Obviously, I've been gaming, with some of the boys. But yeah, I haven't really been doing much, trying to stay inside as much as possible. And now the restrictions are easing up here, especially in Canberra. But what's going on in the world right now is pretty crazy. But, it's starting to become more normal in Canberra for sure.
Oh, that's good to hear, man. It's good to hear that you've been keeping up with your tennis as well, and obviously chopping everyone up on COD as well. I've witnessed it firsthand. The man can snipe. He's definitely.
I do play a fair few computer games.
Oh, mate, absolutely. He's a freak. I don't want to give away his PSN, but he can play. But I was going to ask you, mate, because I know there's obviously a lot of people very interested in what you have to say. A big name in the sport. How did you come across tennis as a kid? Because I know that you loved your basketball growing up, similar to Thanasi, and you were very good at basketball, very good at tennis. How did you discover it, and what made you stick with it?
My mum and my dad were always pretty keen on me playing tennis. They knew that I loved basketball. I had always had a basketball ring outside my house, and growing up, I was a pretty I wasn't overweight, but I was a little chubby, and I guess my mum, tennis was just a way to get me out of the house, get active, and she just brought me down to my local tennis centre in Lynham, which is about a 5-minute drive away. And I started off with the little group lessons, and I hated it. I remember, I was crying. I didn't really want to play. And then I got out there, and I was, obviously when you get there and you meet the other kids, I had a bit of fun. But then pretty much ever since then, that's all I've been really good at, to be honest. Obviously had to choose between basketball and tennis when it got to the stage where, scholarships and all that type of stuff was on the line, because, basketball's pretty physical, and I couldn't really afford to get injured for my tennis. And coming through from Australia, there wasn't too many pathways to become, great at basketball. And, tennis is a major sport in Australia. So my dad kind of gave me a bit of a push into more the tennis route. And I guess it kind of paid off in a way. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I was saying earlier, you weren't always the specimen cowboy rooster that we see before us right now. We touched on that just before. You were a bit overweight as a kid, and there were people who actually obviously doubted you, and you've come through the ranks, and you've obviously proved a lot of people wrong. So what does that mean for you now?
I had obviously coaches. I wasn't very fit when I was a kid, so I always struggled. I always hated doing anything to do with fitness, just particularly running. And I guess, I had a lot of people telling me that I needed to get better, I had to get more discipline, lose weight, all this type of stuff. And, just a couple key moments in my career where those type of comments from coaches or teachers or just people in general that always kind of stuck with me, and obviously just created a bit of a chip on my shoulder, which at times I think, can explain why I'm so combative on the court and maybe, rebel against authorities from time to time. But it definitely shaped the way I played now. I definitely had to dictate the point when I was young because I couldn't move as well. And all my friends know that the way to beat me was either drop shot or just make me run until I got tired. So now I just try and play as aggressive as possible. So it kind of shaped me into the tennis player I was, but it definitely, there were a lot of people who were, had their 2 cents about, what I had to do to make it, so to speak. But yeah, I mean, those comments were hurtful at times. I was only a kid, at the time, just wanted to play and go compete. And you got coaches and teachers saying to like a 14, 15-year-old kid, like, you need to lose weight, like, otherwise you're not going to be good, like all this type of stuff. So it was pretty tough to handle back then, but I didn't really take it to heart too much.
That's good to hear. And I know that you've got a very supportive network around you with your mum and your dad and obviously brother and sister. So have they always been supportive of your athletic pursuits?
Yeah. I mean, my parents have always been very supportive, and my 2 siblings, my elder siblings, both played tennis. And when I started beating them when I was about 14, probably a good hint that they gave up. It's like, you guys ought to stop wasting your time. But I mean, I always had an amazing support crew around me. My mum sacrificed a lot, driving me to tournaments throughout the country, staying in pretty shitty sort of hotels, backpackers, and just like caravan parks. But it was all part of the journey, I think. You know what it's like too. It was just about back then it was about being with the boys. But I mean, I always had a lot of support around me for sure.
Oh, that's great. And you're obviously a massive basketball fan too, and you played a lot of basketball growing up. Are there any fine motor skills or any skills that you picked up playing basketball that you think enhanced your tennis in a way?
Yeah, definitely. I think I actually think the movements in basketball are so similar to tennis, because like playing defense on the basketball court is so similar in the movements. And to be honest, like everyone knows, there's no secret. Like I don't do an intense amount of training. Like I barely train. I barely train throughout the week, to be honest. But I play a lot of basketball, and I think that's actually helped me. My fitness levels, my movement. It's definitely helped my serve. I think it's the same sort of. Someone keeps calling me on WhatsApp, which is super annoying.
Yeah, but I was wondering what was happening there. It keeps cutting out.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Basketball's helped my training for sure, because if I didn't play basketball, I don't think my training or my fitness would have been up to standard to play at the level I'm playing at now. But I barely train, to be honest.
And before we move on to the mid stages of your career, where you're at now, are there any lessons you learned from tennis that you've been able to apply to your life moving forward?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I can't actually thank the sport enough to, it's given me the opportunity to travel around the world. I mean, you and Thanasi, Thanasi kind of touched on it. He was like, it's given him. We're absolutely blessed to see the different cultures, meet new people, go to all these different places and get paid for it at the same time. But he also touched on the fact that it's not so glamorous. When you go to these places, it's more for work. You can't just go out there and party, so to speak, which I'm doing now. But, I mean, for sure, like tennis is like, the platform it's given me today to obviously, a bit about my foundation. I'll try and just help as many people as I can, with the platform I have. And that's just come down to tennis. The platform it's given me is amazing. And I just feel like I'm very cultured. I might seem immature and, just a bit of a joker from time to time, but I feel like at 25, I've seen a lot and I've been through a lot of experiences, and I actually feel very wise with a lot of things. I feel like I've got a lot of, I've been through a lot of things. So it's also, I've just got a lot of life experience. I think tennis has definitely taught me that. Being away from home for like 6-7 months at one time, and like dealing with that, being like 21, 22, not many people in the world can even say that. So, I mean, just being alone and doing those things and doing it yourself, it's taught me a lot.
Yeah, certainly, no doubt. And I've personally observed a lot of growth in you over the last few years as an individual and as a player. Yeah, absolutely, mate. We've had some good nights on the town and stuff as well, but I've also seen, you mature as a person and done some really great things, which we will get to soon. But it's great to see, mate. And let's talk about some of the things from your career, because I've got a few moments here that I think are quite impressive from some of the things you've done in your career. Obviously, reaching a career high of 13 in the world You're one of only 3 players in the history of the sport to have defeated Rafael Nadal, Novak Djokovic, and Roger Federer the first time you played each of them. Some really notable stuff here. What's your favourite moment?
Honestly, man, like I look back on my career already, and I've been on tour for like 8 years now. Like I almost feel like a bit of a veteran, to be honest. But dude, it's gone so fast, and like I look back at, you know, when I just go on YouTube and maybe watch a highlight every now and then, like it has amazed me how fast it's all gone. I remember, you know, the first time I did beat Roger, and like I don't know, like there's so many moments. Like I've had such an up and down career. I've had a lot of fun with it. It's just been an absolute roller coaster. It's been crazy, and I don't think I'd change it for anything, to be honest, because I've just had so much fun with it. Like I've really had awesome fun with it, and I wouldn't change a thing. Like the nights out, the trying to play, like, and I don't know, like I just feel like a normal person as I am today. Like, and these guys that I train with know that I haven't really changed much as a person. Like I just wanted to prove a lot of people wrong. I wanted to go out there saying, like, a guy like me, like a fat kid from Canberra who, you know, was decent at ball striking, could literally take it to some of the best in the world. And I think it's comical for me because, like, some of the things I do, and I'm just like, to go out there and do that, I think it inspires a lot of people because I'm very relatable in the mistakes, the things I'm going through. It's like, gee, someone like this, so normal, can still do things on a global stage that are quite impressive. But wins and losses for me were not, like, I look back at that and I'm just like, that's not what's made my career. I think I've just done it my own way, and I've had a lot of fun with it. And I just believe in myself. And I think that's the three key things I take away from my career so far.
Bit of a curly one here, but who would you most likely to have a beer with on tour? There's got to be someone that comes to mind.
Well, look, let's just clarify. Not many people on the tennis tour can actually drink. They're all got small engines. You know, like I'm on my 13, 14, and they're getting carried on their third or fourth. But,
I can confirm he's not lying. That's 100%. That's.
I mean, pretty much any of the Australian guys. Obviously, very close with Thanasi, Jordan Thompson, and I just think the bond that we've had, because we were playing together since we were like 10. So to see how far we've all come is pretty crazy. Like, a good story that always makes me laugh is, you know, me and Jordan played each other when we were like 8, and, you know, throughout Sydney, and we've always been, you know, kind of rivals growing up, and we'd always used to give it to the umpire, give it to them, and then we played each other first round at Wimbledon, and both of us are just going at the umpire like you've never believed. Like, I'm giving the umpire shit, Thompson's going back and forth, and then I look at Tom and I'm just like, man, we've come from battling against each other with 8 in Sydney to first round Wimbledon, just nothing's changed. But I mean, I can have a beer with most people on tour, but yeah, I mean, there's a couple good friends that I've had that I'll never lose now. You know, guys like Jack Sock, you know, who is now about to get married, and, you know, I'm one of his groomsmen at his wedding, which is just like things just like that I'd never thought would come from tennis. And these friendships are awesome. So I'd have a beer with a fair few of them. Yeah. I've definitely I've had a beer or two with a fair few WTA players too. But yeah, like, they're all pretty. Like, there's a good crop of them.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I feel compelled to dive into that, but let's move on. Have you considered travelling with a coach full time, and if so, we know you got a great relationship with Andy Murray. Could Muzz be in the box moving forward? Could there be something like that happening, or? I'm not sure.
I mean, first of all, I'm just gonna be completely honest. Like, yeah, I think towards the start of my career, and, you know, when I was a junior, having a coach is absolutely essential. Like, having someone that can guide you and keep you on the straight and narrow, going through all these, like, you know, dealing with adversity, like losses every week, it's not easy to take. So having someone there to guide you, I think that's more the important role of a coach, not so much. Obviously, I think when you get to 18, 19, technicality, like physicality and all that type of stuff should be taken care of themselves at that moment. Like, the players should know how to play the game, what they need to do under pressure, and what works for that style of play. So for me now, like, I know, like, having a coach for me, like, one, personally, I think is a little bit of a waste of money, because I think they get paid way too much. I'm not gonna use that money on someone who's really not gonna be able to tell me technically. Like, I know technically my shots, you know, are fine. Like, I need to work on my forehand return a little bit. It's a bit shaky at times, but I can fix that. Like, physicality, I know for myself that I could get better. you know, I could get fitter, I can get stronger. Like, I don't need someone to tell me that. But like, I don't know. I don't think that a coach would add any value to me. And first of all, I'm very unpredictable. Like, one day I want to train, the next day I'll probably stay in bed all day. Like, I don't think there's a coach that's willing to deal with the whole roller coaster of coaching me yet.
That's interesting. Sorry to cut you off, but that is interesting hearing that. Have you always had that have you always felt like that ever since you were a kid? Were there days where you just didn't want to wake up and train? Has that always been, or is that something that's developed over time?
Well, of course, no, for sure. Like, I mean, there was times where I was in the Melbourne Academy when I was like 18, and some days I don't feel like training. But that's just like everyone with their work, you know. Some days you can't, you don't want to work, but you still have to go. Like, and those years were so crucial for me because they were the foundation years. But now, like, people are like, I see like Fognini and all these types of old coaches that are just like, oh, I'd love to coach Kyrgios. And I'm just like, I actually don't think you would, because it would be an absolute nightmare. Like, because I know that's just how I am. I know that, like, it's not just going to be what you think it's going to be. Like, I guarantee you, like, it's just not. And I wouldn't do it to them. Like, first of all, I think it's selfish for me if I'm gonna like, yeah, I'm ready to get a coach, and then I'm going to put them through all this type of stuff. And I'm just like, and for me, I don't have a goals of winning Grand Slams. Like, I just want to do it my way, have fun with it, and just play. So to get a coach for me is just pointless, because I don't want to like waste their time almost. You know what I mean? Like, why not work with someone that has all these goals and they want to achieve all these things in this sport? Then work with them, not with me. Because man, if I could, I'd just be on the beers every time I played. Like, afterwards, like, I just want to chill out. You know, like, I just think the sport's taken a bit too serious. I think I should have played when, you know, McEnroe and all them were playing, because I just feel like the personalities now, I just don't mesh. I don't mesh with too many of them.
That's really interesting. So would you say that you're almost like the Happy Gilmore of tennis? It's in a way.
I mean,
because your box office, mate, like, you know, no matter when you play, you've been described as box office by a lot of your peers. You know, no matter whether people love, hate you, or indifferent to you, they watch all of your matches. So, you know, it must be that unpredictability that makes you so box office, because you are so human and you are so natural and yourself on court. And I think that shines through.
Yeah, for sure. And I just don't think a coach is ready. And I'm not going to put him through it too, because it would just be a nightmare. Where I'm at in my career now, it's too far gone, I think, for a coach, because I'm just so set in my ways, and I just don't like taking advice and listening, to be honest.
Well, if you need someone to pull some faces at you and rip out some gags in the top debate, let me know.
See, that's better. Honestly, I'd pay money for that. Definitely pay more money for that.
I'll do it free of charge, mate, of course. If you had elected to solely focus on basketball, do you think, instead of tennis, do you think you would have had a career in basketball as well?
I mean, I personally don't think that. I mean, but like, as of now, like with my tennis career, I could probably like reach out to some Greek league somewhere and probably play like 10 minutes a game, you know, like, so like, I feel like tennis has almost provided me a little bit of a pathway to that. But man, the physicality is just, it's different, you know. Like, I don't think I would have been anywhere near being able to go up against these guys physically in the NBA. There's no chance. Yeah. But I mean, to say that I wouldn't be able to play anywhere is maybe not, because it's too unknown for me. Because I feel like if I was playing basketball, I definitely would have been like, it's funny because tennis, I don't want to go in the gym. I don't want to hit tennis balls. I don't wake up early. I don't go for runs. I don't do sprints. I don't do intervals, but I'm good at it. And now in basketball, I feel like I would have been putting shots up all day in the gym. Like, I would have been extremely hardworking, but there's no guarantee that I would have made it. So I'm going to say no. I don't think that. I just think things are just the way they are, and for some reason I just am good at this sport. I don't understand why, but it's just the way it is.
You got some wheels on you, mate. I've seen some highlights on your Instagram page.
I don't understand, like, my physio, like my physio, my trainer and stuff, like, they've told me, like, face to face, honestly, and said, like, we have no idea how you haven't had like severe injuries and like surgery and stuff, because like I do all these testing, these flexibility tests, and like my body is like, it's horrendous. But then when I'm on court, I just like, I don't know. It's just, I've never had a, touch wood, I've never had, you know, some severe injuries that other players have had, and I'm extremely lucky for that, and I don't know what it is.
So what would you say motivates you? What's your biggest motivator out there?
I mean, on the court, I definitely had a part of my career where I lost my way with motivation. I think I was actually quite professional until I was like 18, 19, and then obviously everything happened with my grandma. She passed away. She was probably my closest friend, my best friend, and ever since then I don't know, something definitely changed when she left. I definitely hit the crazy side a little bit, but I lost my way for a little bit, and then obviously the foundation helped me. You know, I tried to take it away from myself. I tried to be able to play for something more than me, and I was just thinking, like, I have the ability to go to these hospitals and do all these, like, activations, we call them, when we're on tour, and that was a massive wake-up call for me. I was like, fuck, like, I've got all this, you know, whatever it is, like platform money, and I just decided to put it into somewhere that wasn't about myself, and now I just feel like I just try and play and inspire people to believe in themselves. Like, I love going to, like, kids clinics and seeing these kids struggle and actually lack confidence, so I can just say, to, like, look, like, it's like, I like to give people confidence, and I just like to, that's what it is. I guess that's what I'm playing for now. I feel like a lot of people can relate. I've got quite a big following, and that's what I play for now.
It's good to hear you say that as well, because now you're being widely publicised as a charitable person, a lot more so. I mean, you do have the Nick Kyrgios Foundation. You're doing great things there, and you kickstarted the bushfire relief with the Aces, that campaign there. So
Yep.
Where does that charitable streak in you come from? Have you always had sort of a softer side to you, and you've always tried to help people?
Well, it's not the fact that I think I changed. It's just like I didn't really realise the impact I could have. You know, there was one specific time I was in Marseille, and I was just visiting a hospital for the tournament, and these people didn't really know who I was at the time, and they were not massive tennis fans, but just their sort of look on their faces to give them hope. Like, some of these kids were not even going to make it out of that hospital, but the fact that I went in there and took time, and someone like an athlete could just there and give them their time and, you know, light them up for, you know, like half an hour, like, that's when I just realised, like, you know, I feel like I always had that in me, but the fact that I have it now to actually make an impact was the most special thing about it. And I think that's what really woke it up in me. And that's when I genuinely feel my happiest, is when, you know, I could be with some of my best friends, or, you know, playing tennis with, like, for instance, say Babs or something like that. And we would just, like, happily go over to a group of kids that are playing, and we would just join in, play mini tennis, because, like, I just feel like it's about giving those people hope and just making their day, you know. That impact is massive. I think that's what it's about.
Yeah, definitely, mate. And you do motivate a lot of people. For me personally, I just want to say that it is really good for me to start seeing you get the positive press that I think you deserve. So
yeah,
good on you, brother.
I mean, you know that. I mean, I don't really care too much about, you know, the media has just ridden me so much. Like, whether it's positive, negative, like, there was a time where I was just like, look, I can't let this sort of sap and take my energy anymore. So, like, even with, like, this stuff this year with the bushfires and, like, the COVID thing where I was just, like, delivering food to people's houses, like, I don't really do that for the fucking media. Like, I don't really give a fuck about that stuff anymore. Like, I just doing it because I just feel like as humans we try and help as much as we can. But, like, the media, man, like, I've like, man, I've woken up some days and I've read what they're saying, and I'm just like I had no words. I can't even put into words some of the stuff I've seen. I'm just like, now, like, we all know, like, the bigger the story, the bigger the paycheck. Like I was like, it's just, yeah, it's funny, but it doesn't come from a point where I'm just like, oh, like, I do it, I'm like, oh, please be like a positive story the next day. Like, I'm like, I really don't care about that, you know.
It's funny because I've got a question here, because you and I muck around a lot when we're playing COD and doing newsreader voices, etc. You know, and you do a great impression of the newsreader voice as well. If you could give advice to the media, what advice would you give them?
Oh, mate, like, I mean, well, I understand. Like, everyone's just trying to make some money. So, like, it's not even about what's right anymore. It's just who's first. Like, the media could have like they're not even going to wait for the right information. As long as they have something, they're just going to push it out. And it's like, that's where we live in. Like, everyone has these media outlets have the ability to actually, like, educate people on what's right. But that's just, it's absolute baloney now. Like, they're just like, fuck it. Like, screw if this is actually right. Let's just get it out first, get the more views. And then, like, you know how people are these days. They'll believe anything they scroll on Facebook, see, and they're just like, it could be like the article would be like Kyrgios walking on the ground, disrespecting the ground, you know.
Yeah,
and then,
actually.
And then like, I know, but like the media would like try and spin that, and then people would be scrolling like, you know what, maybe he is walking a bit too hard on the cement. Maybe he is wrecking the And I'm just like, bro, like people believe anything these days because it's all rubbish. It's not even about what's right, it's what's first now. And I wouldn't even tell them anything. I would say continue to do it because this sport and the media has given me the power. I could go to Twitter right now, you and I, and I could lose a dare. You could be like, Nick, I dare you to do this. And I'd type it in Twitter. And the world we live in and where I'm at in my tennis world have the power to just cause an absolute uproar. Like, I could just say something so controversial right now on this screen and things would just go mental. And I'm like, and it could be the most ridiculous thing ever. Like, and I wouldn't give them any advice because it's too far gone. And like, it's just a disgrace.
It's true. I believe one of the quotes was, tennis star Nick Kyrgios seen breathing in the general direction of another human.
Yeah, stealing too much oxygen. Oh, sorry for breathing.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's just, I mean, I don't even know what advice I'd say to them. It's just, they're all just trying to, you know, that's their job. You know, they've got real world problems as well. They're probably just trying to put food on the table for their families. So I'm not going to beat them up about it. So,
and
yeah.
This one came in from an anonymous sender via Instagram. Were you always a camaraderie and banter generating unit, or did this confidence come about as a result of your first ominous haircut?
Man, I don't know. Like, I had a lot of and when I was young, I didn't really have any haircut style or anything. I got a fade one day. I went to a barber and I got a fade, and then ever since then I just kind of kept the whole like short sides, bit of mohawk or whatever. But dude, I've literally my favorite things about going to these tournaments and traveling when I was a young kid was seeing like my best friends. Like when I knew Thanasi, like Thompson, all these guys were going to be there. I was like, dude, I can't wait to see these guys. I just wanted to have fun. Like tennis was there, but like, and nothing's changed. And that's why for me, like in juniors, like I just wanted to vibe. Like like we used to stay at Wimbledon, all the girls and all the guys used to stay in the same floor. And like for me, that was just like, dude, that was golden. I was like, dude, this is unreal. Like we can have so much fun and nothing. And I think actually the fact that I haven't changed that much since then, and everyone in the professional tour now is so serious. I've just lost it. Like, I don't know. Like I've always been about just having good banter and like, as you say, camaraderie and creating these memories. Like, I think that's more important. But man, like, I miss those junior days, man. Like, everyone wanted to hang out and stuff. So yeah, that's definitely haven't changed since then.
Do you think that that's personally, from your perspective, something that the tour might need? Because I know that you love playing Laver Cup and those team events, and you really lift and play your best tennis when you're around a team, and you do have those great vibes. So is that something that you think the ATP or the tour needs to implement more to get the fans engaged and get some more engagement around the sport?
Definitely. I think team sports, it has to go in that direction. You know, it's not like what the whole governing body about ATP have no idea about is like, they're so concerned about keeping the fans that are interested in the sport now, but it's like entertainment and sport has never been closer at the moment. Like, I don't think it will ever get closer. And it's about bringing people from other sports, like trying to get them watched. And I feel like I've almost bridged the gap between basketball and tennis, which was not a goal, but it's just the way it was. Like, I feel like the gap between tennis and basketball is closing. Obviously, I did a shoe collaboration with Kyrie and all that type of stuff. And like, I just feel like team events definitely need to be more involved on the tour. But it's just like, dude, the tennis is just so stuck in its old ways, and I don't think it will ever change, which sucks. But 100%. for the players that go about their stuff professionally and, you know, they take it seriously, and that's fine. I'm never going to say, bro, you need to lighten up. Like, I'm just saying, like, there's no right or wrong for me. Like, if you want to take your profession seriously, wake up at 5:45, say what John Millman does, and train, diet, that's great. Like, do that. But I will never criticize someone like that. But then when I do it my way, it's just like, oh, he's going about it the wrong way. Like, he's unprofessional. He's a bad guy. Like, I'm just like, but it's just different. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Simply just different.
You actually mentioned earlier it's not sort of in the wheelhouse. You don't think that a Grand Slam's on the cards. But is that something that you think might happen in the future? Do you think you might actually knuckle down and go, you know what, screw it? Because you've got the game to do it. Everyone knows it.
Loney, Loney, you and I both know this answer.
But I mean,
Like,
you know you've got the game. Everyone knows you've got the game. You could do it.
Yeah, but like, it doesn't excite me. Like, that doesn't excite me because, like, I'd much rather just have a fun week and a half. You know, make a quarters or a semi-final with the boys. Like, bands are around, and then just like by that time, my body would be absolutely spent anyway because I haven't done that. I don't believe that my body would hold up for 7 matches at a Grand Slam. Like potentially playing 3-4 hours. So, but I'm okay with that. Like people be like, "Oh, that what an idiot!" Like, but like I've looked at myself in the mirror and had these conversations to get to know myself, and I'm just like, I'm okay with that. Like I'm okay with say me making a 4th round and then messaging you guys saying, "Hey, what are we doing tonight? Like, let's have some fun." Like I'd much prefer that, like because it's like that's special. I think.
Well, I guess that's what they
just reached
say.
the ultimate freedom.
Well, I guess that's what they say about life, isn't it? It's all about, you've got to do what makes you happy. And I think I do think it's unfair that, you get that criticism because essentially you're just doing what you want to do. And there's so many people around the world who do the exact same thing. And you don't see the same sort of tennis star, the newsreaders. It's bullshit, bro. It is. But
it's laughable now. Just laugh about it.
Now, this is a question from some of your fans and some of mine. This came in a couple of times during the old Instagram questionnaire. What do you think of my impression of you?
First of all, I never wear hats. That's the only thing. Like I don't. Like you always put a hat to the side, but I never wear hats. But like the speech is hilarious because it's like, oh, bro, I don't know, bro. Like, it's so funny. Like, I think it's hilarious, but like the hat's got to go. Like, but I love it. It's like you wear the hat to the side. You put like 38 gold chains on top. But the speech is the speech is funny. The way you do my voice is funny because it's good. It's good.
I'll make sure I'll take a note of that moving forward, bro.
It's funny.
What's a little bit of a lighthearted one? What's the best place you partied on? We've had some great nights out, you and I, and you've got a hell of a bowl on you on the tennis court, but not many people have seen you cut shapes on the dance floor, and I can say it's equal.
Man, nights out. Well, I feel like I've had some of my best nights out I feel like every time I go out, I definitely, it's all about for me the company. So for instance, if it's me, you, Tanasi, or some of the boys, I don't really care where we are. Like, to be honest, I feel like if we just have some decent music and there's going to be alcohol and we can just, choose to drink or not, do whatever, but just that company's massive for me. And I just feel like some of my best nights probably been in Melbourne. London's got amazing nightlife. States, Europe, Madrid. I've had a couple of good ones in Shanghai too. I had a couple of great nights out in Shanghai. Man, Amsterdam's great too.
Yeah. So, if you could hang up the rackets and play as a professional COD streamer, would you do it?
100%. 100%. 100%. Yeah, I would. First of all, just like on a serious note, like my body actually hurts now. Like I always took that for granted, which sounds ridiculous. I'm 25, but then people don't actually realize how slack my work ethic was for so many years. Like I never did the stretching, the recovery, the diet, the yoga, the meditating. Like I always thought when I was like 19 to 22, I was like, dude, this is easy. Like I can play matches and do all this stuff. My body won't hurt. But I'm going to a period now where it actually does hurt. And I'm like, if someone came to me right now, I was like, Nick, going to be a professional COD streamer, like for decent money, which is possible. I'd be like, hell yeah. Because bro, like my knees are starting to hurt a little bit, Like
well, I hope you don't mind. Sorry, go on. Like
the shoulder's starting to hurt, when I'm rolling the 230s over, shoulders getting a little
230 warm up. And I hope you don't mind me bringing this up. I remember you and I were in, I think it was in Montreal, or you just gone to America, and I think either the night before you played Rafa or 2 nights before, we had a night out, you, me, and a few other of our mates, and we sent it. And you sent it hard. And then I remember being in the hotel room. I was a full-blown fetus, a corpse. I turned on the TV, and there you were on the TV, dusting up Rafael Nadal on a hard court. And I could not believe it. I was saying to my mate, I said, I cannot believe Nick is doing this. Not only is he playing one of the best players in the world and dismantling them, but he was out with us no more than 24 hours ago, off his nut. It's like, I don't understand how you're able to play tennis at that level after doing that kind of stuff on a night out. Like, how do you do it, mate? Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
Well, look, I've always lived by one thing. And if I'm willing to party, and if I'm willing to have a night out with the boys, and if I'm in tournament mode like that, like, I'll go out. But I always said the next day, if I'm in tournament mode, that I feel like I have to do something the next day. Like, I have to either train, just do something, whether it's half an hour for an hour, hour and a half. Yeah. And it was no different, man. Like, we went out, we had a great time. I'm pretty sure we went pretty hard. And, a day and a half later, like, I saw the draw, and I'm like, I got to play Rafa. And I mean, nothing changes. I go out there, like, I already told you, like, what I think of these players. I don't give them respect just because of who they are, what they've achieved. I just went out there and said, look, I'm going to play big. Look, I can't really move. I know that I can't really move because I'm still probably hungover. So I'm going to have to serve really big and just play super aggressive. And that's, the stars align for that night, which is, it's that simple, really. Like,
well, that's the thing that I couldn't get my head around, because I was like, he probably had even more than I did, and I was a corpse. I was not myself for about 3 or 4 days, and no more than 24 hours later, you're playing one of the best players in the world on one of the biggest stages and dusting them up. It's actually freakish stuff. It's unbelievable to witness. So it's really interesting hearing you talk about that, because that's something that I've always thought about, and I always wondered, how does he do it? Because I personally, there's no way I'd be able to walk out on the court and perform.
Yeah, but I mean, as I said, consistently, I'm not too sure if you can do it, but I've had a couple times in my career where I've somehow pulled it together, but it's consistently doing it at the top it's not possible. That's for sure. Absolutely. Like, I'll easily admit that if that type of behavior is not going to be consistent, you're gonna get burnt out and wear down. Which, I'm okay to say, which is probably, it has caught up to me a little bit, with my physicality, or, sometimes not being as consistent, for sure. But
well, it's worth me saying as well, just to clarify and clear everything. It's not always that you do that. You are oftentimes very professional, and you do obviously train hard, and you do that stuff. And that's obviously those opportunities and those things are few and far between. But that was just something that stayed with me, because I know that at the time, I think he was world number 1, and you were, and others. I think that was one of the most incredible things I think I've probably witnessed in my life, considering how what the state we were all in. So incredible stuff, mate. Hats off to you, man. So let's talk about moving forward, and some of the things you want to focus on after tennis. So what are some of your aspirations post tennis, post career? What are some of the things you most want to do?
Well, I guess obviously the foundation stuff, I don't really want that ever to end, to be honest. I want to continue working on that pretty much moving forward when my career is done. That's where my focus would mainly go to. But man, I haven't even thought about it. Obviously gaming, I love gaming. I want to, do a lot of, I got a lot of things on my mind that, I wouldn't want to share all of them, but like gaming and just with my foundation stuff, I think that the options are everywhere. I might even test out, going somewhere and playing basketball for a bit. I don't know yet. I got a lot of, I'd love to coach. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I'd love to coach, as in like younger groups of kids. And I would never, coach professionally. But yeah, I'd like to coach at some stage too. I think it'd be fun. I'd like to explore that.
Yeah, that is good. It's good to hear you say that as well, because obviously we've had a lot of conversations off the court, and you do have a really good tennis brain, and you've got a really good understanding of court awareness and certain patterns of play and things that you do. So it's something that I've always observed in you, and I've sort of understood more than most the reason why you haven't had a coach, because I do feel like you do have a better tactical brain than most. So to be able to share that information and that knowledge that you have with aspiring kids coming up is very endearing of you to say, and I think really, really positive. For sure. You are doing great things with the Nick Kyrgios Foundation. So what's some of the things that our listeners and our viewers here can do to donate and make a difference?
Well, first of all, you can go to my website here. It's pretty much nkfoundation.com. Bunch of stuff there you can buy if you want. I'm not going to tell you to buy, but there's heaps of stuff there that's pretty cool. And all those proceeds go to the foundation. And I mean, look, my vision originally was just to get something small started, just to almost create a bit of like a home for people that didn't have a home, homeless, that were really struggling, just to go there and just feel like people cared about you. I felt there was a period where I battled with a bunch of some serious stuff where I felt alone in a sea of people. Like I would go to functions and stuff and people would be coming up to me and I felt terrible. I felt so alone. I was like, I didn't want anyone else to feel like that ever. So that was my first original plan, to just build sort of a big home. And then eventually I was like, look, it'd be pretty cool to, get people to have the opportunity to play sports. So tennis was a big one, basketball, and it pretty much just grew from there. And it's taken off. I never really thought that I would be able to put it in motion, but to see where it is today, it's pretty cool.
It's interesting to hear you talk about that and being in those dark places and obviously you've been able to bring yourself out. A lot of people aren't able to do that. What is some advice you can give to people who are battling demons, and what would you say to them about coming out of that?
I mean, I still battle from day to day these days, but I feel like I didn't lean on the people that, the walls were always up. I didn't feel, obviously with everything, the spotlight, just the things I was going through, like I just didn't really trust anyone. I didn't really lean on people, and I'm lucky enough now to be able to really open up. Like some of my best friends, like they see me cry and they see me, like I've just like really opened up, and now it's really like, it woke me up to see like there are people genuinely close to me that genuinely do have my best interests at heart. And I never took that like seriously when I was going through it all, but now I think that's the thing that got me out of the whole rut, was just opening up to people and like just knowing that they actually cared was a big one. Because I went through a period where it was tough to even trust or build any connection with someone, and I just struggled with it all. But now, my whole outlook on tennis and everything, like not taking things too seriously and really bonding with some of my closest friends. And obviously this time is tragic, but going back to the basics, just hanging out with my family again, like it's all a blessing for me now. So I'm just happy that I definitely got out of it. But I think just people around me, man, like it wasn't nothing to do with me. They helped me, and yeah, that probably my friends and my closest friends were probably who I had to thank for that one.
It's good to hear, man. And obviously, don't want to take up too much of your time. We know you're a very busy man, and we really do appreciate it.
I got it to Vino. You know how the red wines go.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Might have to celebrate with a couple of reds. I asked a similar question to Thanasi, Nick, before we wrap this up. If a fully formed Elliot Loney, right, in his prime, faced off against a 13-year-old Nick Kyrgios on a grass court in altitude in Mexico with sea level balls on a hot day, with Alex Babinette in the stands, in your box, according to you, who would come out on top?
I mean, Loney, I've seen you. I know it's a funny question, but like, I don't feel like you're giving yourself enough, like enough credit. Like you're pretty. You can hit a good ball and you can actually play. Like it wouldn't even be close. Like me, 13, I would have been weighing in at about 70. Like I had a decent bowl on me, but like, come on, man. Like fully in your prime, you got the goosey forehand and everything. There's no chance. No chance. Yeah, I reckon you'd probably beat me like 7-5. I reckon I'd compete for first one. I'd be gassed and it'd be like 5-1.
I don't know. I mean,
serious, dude. I've hit balls with you. I hit balls with you in Montreal, and you were hitting with me then. Like, and that was like 3 years ago. So I don't like. Come on, let's be real. Like, you weren't that bad. You were pretty good.
Yeah. Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
That's hilarious, though. Like, that's funny.
Sea level balls,
Sea level balls, just.
I just want to say thanks so much for giving up your time, man. It means so much to me, and I just want to say thanks heaps, man, because you've been nothing but a great bloke to me ever since I met you, and a great bloke to a lot of people that I've introduced to the circles. And I'm really pleased to see you start getting the positive press that I know you deserve. And I'm just wishing you all the best moving forward, man, with your career and post-tennis as well.
Mate, of course. Loans, anytime. Anytime we want to do like a dual podcast with someone, I'm always willing to help out. I mean, I think it's interesting. I always watch your comedy videos and stuff like all day, every day. I even ask you when I'm in the shower for funny like little hits, 30-second hits just to make me laugh. So, look, you know that our bond's more than just the podcast and helping each other out. You know, when I'm just willing to. It's good to have a chat and share memories, and you know, I know that this is going to be awesome. You know, for you moving forward this podcast, I think it's great initiative. So,
thanks, man. And yeah, I'm always going to be in your corner, brother. It's all love from this end, and look after
appreciate
that rascal up the top.
I
of the
will.
stairs, mate.
He tends to look after me from time to time.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Well, thanks for sharing some of your stories with us, mate.
No worries, Loney. Anytime, brother. Anytime. I'll probably after this, I'll probably just gonna have to hassle you for a couple of voice messages just to make me laugh.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Anything you want, big Gary V, a few newsreader voices.
You change your perspective.
You gotta change your perspective.
All right, Loans. Take it easy, all right?
No worries, man. Thanks for coming on.
All right. See you, big man.
See you, brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to my channel to stay notified every time I upload. I really do appreciate your support. It means the world. We're closing in on 40,000 subs. Hopefully we get there over the next month. I've got new videos coming every single week, comedy videos, podcasts with athletes and entertainers. I've got a lot more stuff on the horizon. So thank you for your support, and I'll see you very soon. Cheers.